It's a really wide.
Yeah. Oh, you're live.
Oh, we're live. Okay. Hi, guys. We are trying something different today. We're going live because I've had so many problems uploading my videos. I have one that just has refused to upload, and it's just kind of frustrating. So I thought, well, let's try live, and that way I don't have to upload it.
However, we are prone to mistakes at this time.
It may be a really, well, you know, for your amusement, here we are. It may be interesting. Okay. So as I already said, there is a Flosstube, I think it's 32, which I recorded a couple weeks ago. I uploaded it for 2 weeks straight. It kept like getting up to 90% and then airing out, much to my frustration. So I will upload that when I have a better internet connection, which will probably be in Texas. And today I've invited Rob. So not only are we going live, we're going to do this together, and he's completely unpredictable. So we'll see what happens. And what I thought, and a couple of Flosstubers have done this, is I would ask him, test his knowledge of cross stitch, because, we've been married a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 35 years in a couple months. And I've been stitching, how long? I mean, I've been crafty all that time.
It's true. Crafty in all the senses of the word.
Oh, that's mean. Yeah. So, and I remember, I'll just have to tell you a story. It was funny. Way back when, I think I started getting back into cross stitch, probably 2008, 2007, somewhere around that time. But I had been stitching a little bit off and on, and with 4 kids and homeschooling, that was a little bit limiting to my dedication to the craft. But I remember one time there was an incident. I was sitting there and my green floss had gotten tangled, and I was very diligently untangling. It was in the skein, and I pulled it wrong and it was tangled anyway. So I was untangling it. And my husband, Rob, so Rob was sitting there, we were watching TV, and he looks over and he gives a sigh. He's like, I wish I was green floss, because I was giving all my attention to the green floss. Anyways, that always sticks with me.
Yes.
Right. Not paying attention to him, but, giving all my attention to green floss. Okay, so today is April the 23rd. We have been to church. We've been to Trader Joe's. There's a Petco close to Trader Joe's in the same parking lot, and they were unloading puppies. So he lost me for a bit. I told him to halt the car, let me out. And I ran in and I looked at the puppies, petted the puppies, and then came over to Trader Joe's to do my Sunday shopping. And we did not get a puppy because, of course, there's Mia, and Mia deserves to live out her days in peace and quiet and not be bugged by a puppy. Okay. So the other things I wanted to say is that in Flosstube number 32, which is recorded, I drew the winner. And like I said, I will upload it when I get a better connection of the project bag. And it was Nancy Evans. Now, I didn't leave a comment on her comment yet because my Flosstube hadn't uploaded, but I will leave a comment this time around. Nancy, I am thrilled that you won this, and I know you will get in touch with me and send me your address so I can get this at my admin assistant, webmaster, shipping clerk will get it out to you. Anyways, okay, so back to the matter in hand. We are going to talk about what my husband knows about cross stitch. So the first question would be, what is cross stitch?
Well, I first need to preface this by saying welcome.
Oh, yeah.
Secondly, Sylvia was able to take notes and write questions and such before this, and I was not. So I will be, submitting a formal complaint with the International Secret Society of Stitchers when this is all over, that I have been ambushed. So I just wanted to lay that right out there. Cross stitch. What is cross stitch? Well, cross stitch is one segment of various activities within the needlework framework.
Okay.
So within that, you have sewing, you have embroidery, you have
Wow. I'm impressed.
cross stitch itself. So really the separation between them is the defined types of stitches that you will be using and the purpose for which you are doing the cross stitch itself. For instance, cross stitch was developed, the first recorded use of cross stitch was roughly around 300 to 500 AD. The first piece was done by Miss Bostic, and this piece resides in the Victoria and Albert Museum, where is in London, where I do want you to know that when we did go to London, that was Sylvia's first place that we had to go. So we went, and I let her have some time at the Victoria and Albert, and she was able to go see the cross stitch.
No,
I wanted to. So that is what cross stitch is, and it is an activity that is extremely pleasurable for those doing it. It's very relaxing. It's very much a detailed art. It is something that was created in order to enhance things such as home goods, linens, towels, things of that nature. It then
I think he
matured,
read something before.
I think it then matured into the use of art pieces for around the house. Samplers, by the way, are really keyed in on the pieces that are full of the alphabet in order to show a sampling of being able to do all the different types of stitches. Should I go on?
No, dear Lord,
Okay.
I'm flabbergasted. You know,
Okay.
so Rob is known for just making up stuff and presenting it as if it was fact, but this one is not bad.
Fact check.
Yeah, fact check him. That the first known sample or whatever. I don't know when that was,
Right.
but you just made that up.
I did not.
Did you really look that up?
I have paid attention for 35 years.
I think you were sitting over here in your chair when you were drinking your coffee, frantically looking up facts because I told you I was going to.
I would not know what she is talking about.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Then let's talk about some of the acronyms we use.
Acronyms.
You've heard me, throw it around. And
I do like that.
Uh-huh. And the first one, I want to see what you have to say about stash.
Stash. I want you to know that I am a charter member of the International Society of Men Who Deal with Stash. Stash is one of the things that we husbands worry about because it tends to outpace the size of our dwelling. And we are required to give up living space, upgrade, or buy secondary dwellings. But stash to me. Why don't I give you my definition of stash?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
My definition of stash is for the cross stitcher to engage in the pursuit of acquiring every possible item that you could ever imagine that you might need for a stitching project, whether it is the project itself or any of the accoutrement that goes with the stitching itself. So that would be and then of course that needs to be stored.
Yes.
Which of course, includes things such as linen, which is very important. By the way, the first known production linen specifically designed for cross stitch was at Zweigart in Germany.
Are you sure?
I am positive. Look it up.
Wow. Okay, I'm impressed. Okay, so that's stash. What about?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you don't know the acronym, but I'll just tell it. There's an acronym called SABLE.
SABLE.
Mm-hmm.
Secret Association for the Betterment of Legal Entities Stitching.
I don't know. It's SABLE.
Right. I added an S.
I know you added a bunch of stuff. Okay. SABLE is
what is
stash,
Stash.
Acquired.
Beyond. Beyond life expectancy.
Yes.
Very good. I like that. That's a good one.
I crossed over many years ago.
Yeah, she's crossed over.
Yeah, on that one. Okay. What about Floss?
So I can have a sable sail.
You can have a sable sail. Yes, you can.
Yeah. But I'm going before you.
Yeah. See, so that doesn't work. But should something, unplanned happen, then
I would be wealthy beyond my dreams. I wouldn't know what to do with it.
Once you solved it all. Okay. Go ahead. Floss. Floss, my love. Floss.
Floss is the term given to the threads for which you use during cross stitch. Now, there are several different types of floss. You've got wool floss, you've got silk floss. Those flosses itself come in a myriad of colors and weights. So you have choices to make when you are acquiring your floss, and sometimes you actually use double floss in your needle, and you do it with 2 threads. I've heard that's a challenge, but doable.
He's married to the one who avoids doing, using two strands of floss at all times.
Love floss. My favorites.
You love floss. Okay. Yeah. And then you missed the cotton floss.
Oh, cotton floss. Yes.
Yeah. The most common is cotton.
Cotton is cotton floss. Cotton, wool, silk.
Yes. So wool, I haven't used much or hardly any, but I have some, of course. For the Shakespeare Peller came out with this really great sampler that I, intended to stitch, but it's all stored in pristine, unused condition. Okay. Linen count.
Linen count.
So when we say, what's the count of this linen?
What's the count of this? Linen count is, I would equate it with the count of your sheets. I love a good 800 thread count Egyptian cotton sheet.
Yes.
So a thread count would be the way the threads, the number of threads you have within an inch of your linen.
Correct.
So it allows you to see how tight you can do it, and how big the little tiny square is that you put the stitches over. So a low thread count is going to be real loose linen. A high thread count is going to be a much tighter linen. That's a good way to say it.
Very good. Yeah. Very good. Do you know my preferred count?
Oh, I'm not going to wager anything on this, but I would say your favorite thread count is probably a 32, 33, 52, 96, 87,
40, 46.
40, 46.
Yeah, okay. 50, 56 I like, but I haven't done a lot on it. I have a few pieces, but 40 count, and 46 came out then.
And that was a good one.
Do you know what uneven linen is?
Uneven linen. That is linen that is purchased at a flow mart run by gypsies. It's a kind of a secondary market
for linen.
No,
uneven means it has a different count this way and a different, even linen. Well, there's 2 different things. So even linen means the count is the same, but even weave linen.
Even weave
means like linen will have thick threads, little, thin threads. It's not
okay.
So, but an even weave, every thread is the same size, and so you can. It lends itself to certain things, or it's easier to stitch on. People like even weave. Also.
Very good. Next.
Okay. Whips.
Don't go there, people.
I told him he had to keep it clean.
Whips. We do have some whips in our home.
We don't. Oh yeah,
yes,
we do. Those kinds, yeah, whips. But not the other kinds that you are indicating. Yeah.
Whips are works in progress.
Yes.
That's right. That means you get to start the piece, but you don't finish the piece.
Well, no,
you will occasionally. You will get back. You plan on getting back.
Yes.
There is a plan.
So what's a UFO?
Unfinished object.
Yes. That's one that has been languishing for so long, you may never get back to it.
Okay. So the UFO has captured the whip and may not give it back, is what you're saying.
Yes. The status may stay here
forever. All right.
Do you know what a BAP is?
A BAP.
A BAP?
A BAP. A BAP. BAP.
I don't use that term much.
No, I've never heard BAP. So, beer and pretzels?
Yeah.
Okay.
We use that when we stitch. Okay. No, big something or other.
Oh, project. Big ass project.
I didn't say that.
Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, that's what it means.
All right. If you've got kids in the car, please turn this down.
Yeah. So that, I don't know what the criteria is, but it's big.
Big. Really big.
Big.
Yeah.
Do you know what frog is?
Frog.
I have to frog.
You have to frog. Freely regulating own.
No, it's not an
It's not an acronym.
No, it's not. Yeah,
You have to frog it. Well, frogs leap, so you're leaping over one area to another.
Oh, that's interesting.
On the pattern that you're working on. No, leaping from different.
But that's
areas?
good. That's a good one. No. Okay. What sound does the frog make?
Oh, ribbit. Oh, you got to rip it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I hear rip it frequently.
Yes,
yeah.
Because that's a hobby of mine, right?
Very familiar with ripping it. Yes.
Spent a lot of time frogging back in my,
Yes.
room. Do you know what stitch count means?
Stitch count. Mm-hmm. Stitch count's got to be when you have your cross stitch piece. You've got it framed and you've got a pattern. And let's say that in the bottom left-hand corner, you're going to start with stitching the little doggy. So you got the little doggy and you got to count between the first stitch over to the left and over to the right, so that you know that when you start your pattern, this is the start point. And so if you want to leave so much fabric around for border, and so that you start counting the little stitches. Okay, so the first doggy's paw starts at 20 threads in and 20 threads up. So you count over 1, 2, 3 to 20, then up 1, 2, 3, 20. Boom, that's your start point. So that's where it goes, and that's where everything on the rest of the pattern flows.
Wow, that is not bad. You sort of, interesting. Kind of touched a little bit on accuracy. So
I touched a little bit on accuracy.
I would assume he would have known this because he's had to deal with my patterns. Right. Stitch count is how big is this thing? How many stitches going up and down and across?
Okay. So how big the project is as a whole.
Right. So if the stitch count is, 210 this way and 150 that way, then you know how big to cut your linen.
Got it.
Depending on your linen count, right? So on a 32, it'd be bigger, and on do you know how to figure it out?
Okay.
How big your linen has to be? No, that's a little tough. Yeah.
But I will tell you this is fatherly advice after raising 4 children. Always cut your linen a little bit bigger than you think, because it's always easier to go back and trim, but you can't add on very easily or very well if you cut too much.
That's to cut too little.
That
is true, except that linen is super expensive.
Okay.
So let me
always leave a little bit.
Well, yes, it's true. No, it's good advice. But let me just give you a yard of quilting fabric.
Okay.
Right? Cost $11.50, $12, somewhere around there. Right? Dollars a yard.
Right.
A yard of hand-dyed linen.
Right.
Depending on count, because the higher counts get a little bit more expensive than the lower counts. Runs you about 120 to 140.
Okay.
So 10 times as much.
10 times as much. So then is there a chart that tells you
There are calculators.
Calculators that tell you that if I get a yard of this, that's how many count that is. So,
what do you mean?
If you was like halfway through that yard, you'd know that. Well, that's roughly 100. In
terms of stitch count.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. So the way that works is if I have 150, my pattern is 150 stitches across, right? Then if I'm going to put it on 32 count fabric, right? I say, okay, every stitch uses 2 threads of linen.
Okay.
It's over 2, right?
Okay, right, over 2, over 1.
Over
right?
2, over 1, yeah,
okay.
There you go. And so you say, okay, so if at 150, of course, now I have to do math. How many stitches per inch can I get into on 32 count?
Okay.
Over 2. So you divide by 2, which is 16 inches, right? How many inches now will I need to accommodate 150 stitches?
Okay.
Right. And then you have to add in the margins that you're, the empty stuff that you're going to use for framing.
Okay.
So there are calculators online that do that.
Very good.
But we have run afoul at times on
yes, I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He'll come rushing up like, what happened? What's wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That was a very interesting discussion on stitch count. Do you know what? I don't really have very much more. I have one more idea. Specialty stitches.
Specialty stitches. I do know. Obviously, cross stitches, a tiny cross. Then you have oh gosh, I'm going to freeze on this. You have, for goodness sake. Yes, you have various stitches that are different designs and you give them different names.
There you go.
That's what it is. And I'm just
you specialty. Do you know any of them?
Yes, I do know a couple of them, but I don't.
It's not coming out.
No, it's not coming out.
Do you know what the ones are called with the little hole in the middle? I've done a lot of those.
No, I'm completely blanking.
Eyelet.
Yes, eyelet and eyelet stitch and this is terrible.
Oh, what about the one that's like flat? There's like the threads are just laying on the fabric.
Right.
Do you know what that means?
No. I lose. Done.
Here's an example.
Well, I don't care about the example. I can remember the name.
Okay, like this one. Like it looks like that. This is a antique. I'll show it to you guys in a minute.
Yeah. Nope. Don't know.
Satin stitch.
Satin stitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's different names. I'd have to look them up. But
I
touched the thing wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, don't put your fingers right on the middle of it. Okay.
Very interesting. Okay.
All right. Well, my hat's off to you.
Thank you.
That was, more than I thought you knew. You've been paying attention. So I can't think of any others, but if you guys have any others, you can put it in the comment and we'll catch this. We'll catch it next time.
We'll have a part 2.
A part 2. Yes.
Advanced learning for the husband.
For the husbands. Yes. All right. Let's just continue on. You want to go? Or you want to stay?
I'll sit and I'll direct from over there.
Oh, he's going to sit over on his other chair. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Thank you.
No, thank you, my love. That was very nice of you. So, let's see. There's not a lot of stash I've got to show. Can't hardly show you any stitching. A lot of that was taken care in Flosstube number 32. But I'm taking, so I took a Jeanette Douglas class. She's a super genius. I have to say, both in color and in stitches, how she puts it together. But I'm taking another one. And this one is with the Orange Coast Sampler Guild, which sadly is closing its doors. I guess nobody wanted to take over leadership. And that makes me sad because it was a great guild. But one last hurrah. I think there's a few more. This is called, I'm coming closer. Ooh, this is far away. Stitches Be Sweet. And beautiful colors. The fabric, it's a fiber OM fabric. Let's see here. Nope, Old Stationery by Seraphim. I just lied. 36 count. Anyways, so that's coming up in a couple of weeks. I also jumped on the Whilst Iris Naps Designs, the exclusive for homespun needlework. I hardly ever participate there in terms of buying stuff, even though I like all the exclusives, but this one really got me. So I jumped right on it. This is, and this can be purchased through Hobby House, and they just do a fabulous job. So here's the sampler. There it is. It uses, so it is suitable for Ada, which is really great. Let's see, there is Algerian and satin in there and backstitch, so nothing too hard. I have not had time yet, but I know that Whilst Iris Naps, she did a Flosstube talking about the sampler, which I will look at. But your fabric will come packaged in this little brown paper bag. It is, so this is Mary Gibson. Gibson spelled differently, Gypson, 1828. This, and I picked the 46 count Thornfield linen by Needle and Flax, and it's gorgeous. It's washing out a little bit, but you can see there's beautiful subtle modeling on it. There you go. And then it comes with a frippery, and the house is on there. So very nice. And your flosses come all tucked into this little pouch. And there's a lot of them. So, oh my gosh, you know you're going to be stitching a lot of red when you get 3. They're all Weeks Dye Works. Whoopsie. And they're not organized any. Let me make them all hang down. Let's see if we can make this look good. Probably not. So, all right. Anyways, colors.
Lovely.
Very pretty. Really beautiful sampler. Couldn't resist. So I went ahead and purchased it. And it'll live in my house in pristine unstitched condition, as a lot of other stuff does. Okay. Then the other thing I wanted to show you were a couple of antique samplers that have come in the door that I found interesting. I showed 2 last week or last time around. Is that this one? Yes. And I'll show you 2 more this week. This, and we bought this from a fellow in Lebanon, Ohio. So we drove down there, Rob and I, and it was a nice Sunday drive, and his mom had collected samplers, and they were downsizing anyway, so it was time to let some of them go. This one looks to be French. There is no name on here, but it does have a date, 1838, and it says souvenir. Well, could be not French, but I would think it is French, just judging from the alphabets and the way it's done. Oh gosh, so much glare. You can see it's a mourning sampler with the headstone and the cross, and there's lots and lots of initials, but there's some letters that just go, sideways. There's a beautiful, 2 beautiful bands of flowers and wreaths, and flower basket. There's initials scattered throughout, some over 1, some over 2. Very, very interesting. I think this would lend itself actually to a really nice memorial sampler. Anyway, so there's this one. It's still on its original wooden board, which it has to come out and be redone. And then there's this one. I took it out of the frame just because the frame was super loose and I didn't see the sense in keeping it in. This is a really fine sampler. And this is Elizabeth Grafton's work, 1809. And the verse, I'll read it first and then I'll show it to you. Thou sayest, dear Jesus, all thy saints who love thy face to see shall have, while in this vale of tears, kind visits oft from thee. Then let my soul with thee converse, who art my chief delight, for sure the world can't say ease my heart if banished from thy sight. Sorry, those S and F's look really similar. Anyway, so here is this one. Okay, yeah, that's not going to work. Hold on, I'll hold it. So it's still on its board, and it has fabric behind it, which has a full imprint of the sampler. You know, we've seen this before. There we go. Let me hold it this way. So I find the parrot absolutely delightful, and the deer. I'll get up here. The deer is super cute. It just looks like it's going to bounce on all four legs. But this is a very fine sampler done on silk. I haven't done any research on it. It has some repairs to it, but nothing that impedes the whole beauty of it. All right, so there's that one. Oops, let me lay that down. Then, remember when I showed you guys the Dutch sampler that had that big red house? And I don't know if I showed you that I started working on it. I did. I'm still pretty much at this. Oh, I had to do a lot of ripping because I made a mistake. But I'm just going to show you the colors on it. So, and if you see the brick, that is frosted auburn. And the reason I'm mentioning this and showing you this is that I got the whole set of silken colors from Thread Gatherer. And I had a long chat with Cece because frosted auburn, her dye lot, she can't get it that way, not even remotely close. It's a beautiful color, the new color. It's just not frosted auburn. So the one dye component no longer is made. And she tried really hard, but it didn't work. So if you want to get the more reddish frosted auburn, you got to jump on it and get the stock that it is now, that is out there now. I know Shakespeare Peddler has it. I think you only need one for this house, but the reason I have two is because I made a mistake and had to rip out a whole bunch. So I got another one just to make sure that I'd have the color. There, I will give you alternates of what also would look good. I saw a couple of them that looked really nice, but mine's going to be stitched in frosted auburn. I thought I would mention that. Okay, and let's see. I think I've handled what's around here, and then we're just going to quickly do a couple more what's in the bag. There's this lovely bag that my friend Lisa made me, and there's some. Oh, I know what this is. Oh, it's such a pretty sampler, and I've done nothing with it. This was a gift, and this is Sarah Ann Marvin, 1838, from Maryland Farm. She's a stunner. She's really, really beautiful. And I've got it fully ready to go because I intended to. I'm not sure what the. Oh, this is a beautiful 40 count from Vicki Clayton. Once upon a time, she dyed a bunch of beautiful, beautiful linen. And then I, of course, kitted her up in Vicki Clayton's. So, ooh, there are some of the colors. And one wasn't enough. I needed two. And there are more colors. She's going to be absolutely gorgeous stitched. Okay, so there's that. Back in. Oh, okay. I will have to say now my little decoration fell off. These it's laminated cotton bags are actually my favorite because they stay clean, they travel well, they really protect your project. There you go. And I have a ton of laminated cotton down in my sewing room. I just haven't. They're a little trickier to sew, but I really, really love them. And actually this one I found, this fabric I found at Hobby Lobby. I thought it was super cool. Long time ago. Let's see. Oh, this is a Barbara Anna. What does it say on here? Does it tell me it's Barbara Anna? Yes, it tells me it's Barbara Anna. Okay, oops. This is, so I saw Mischievous Stitches, and I can't remember her real name, stitch this. And I was following along, watching her finish. Okay. And this is the fall. The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. I only have it in, I printed it in black and white. But if you need to see it in color and glory, then go to Mischievous Stitches, and she has it. I'm wondering if, yeah, I've tucked my, it's like this. Sorry, I can't show it because you know what's going to happen if I tilt it. Let me see what fabric I picked. Again, a Vicky Clayton. No, this is a Victorian motto linen. When they were still keeping up with the club. All right. But yes, so there's that one, fully kitted, ready to go. I really loved it. It's really fabulous stitched up. Here I have a color. This is All Creatures Great and Small. A number of you have stitched this a little closer. There you go. So fun. Lori Holt did hers right off the top of my head. That's all I can remember. She changed the reds. I know because she has a favorite red. I think, yes. So I think I've kitted this up in the called for on Vintage Country Mocha. Here are all the colors. So I may revisit this. I don't know. Now I do know that I cut this linen. Sample will sit on here. To smaller because I'm not intending to stitch the border. I'm intending to stitch it borderless and then send it to Jill Rensel if she's still framing by the time I get this done. And I wanted them to paint the border on to the frame. I thought that would look really, really awesome. And that was sort of my take on that. Let's see, there's more copies of All Creatures Great and Small in all versions. And and then this one. Whew, I love this one so much. Love never fails. And I forget who, I'm so bad with names, you guys know that, finished these, but there are a number of people. Maybe it'll come to me while I'm talking. So there's no linen in here, but there are spools, and they're just thrown in loosely. And this is why I find spools on the floor after. Oh, here's the. Oops. Oh my gosh, it's tangled. Here's what I had on front of the bag. My little Eiffel Tower, and I just need to sew it back on. But who has time for that? I don't. Okay, let's see here. Oh, gosh. It's unspooling as I'm pulling them out. This is not going to work. I'm not going to show the threads. I will have to organize them first. Now there's really a lot of stuff unspooled, but I did a Vicky Clayton conversion on that. I haven't picked any linen for it, but this was going to be one of our anniversary samplers. My husband knows not to hold his breath anymore for anniversary samples. I did do one. I have the heartstring samplery. It's on the wall. I don't know what the title of it is. I see it right there. It's something about. Will you get that one, baby? The one with the cow. All right, back in. I do have a number. The one with the cow. Yeah, that one. You're standing right in front of it. See the cow?
Now I do.
Now you do? Okay. All right. So, I don't know. Okay, no title. I wish I was a little seed. I'd grow and grow and grow. I'd twine myself around your heart. Oh, I never let you go. So never let you go. This was switched in 2013. And yeah, I love this sampler. I thought it was so much fun. And what was our anniversary in 2013? 25. Yes, because we're going on 35. Okay, so here you go, baby. For 25, I managed to put something together. All right. Let's see here. This fabulous bag was made by my friend Michelle from Cozy Egg. She made me this bag. It's a little different. Ties and yeah, I'm not wedded to any sort of type of bag. I like them all. So, oh, this is Ann Dale. And this is still the old pattern of Ann Dale. Kindred Stitcher, Lisa, totally inspired me. She's a monster. But if anybody can stitch monsters, it's Lisa from Kindred Stitcher. And she used Lakeside Linen Patina. And I totally lost my mind. And I'm like, well, I can dye that color. No, I can't. Turns out I messed around with it a lot. But I got something that I thought I was happy with. It is looking suitably grungy. So it was quite greenish, and then I actually let it soak in green tea, and and put it in the oven, and this is the coloration that I got out of that, and I am not unhappy with it. So I think she's a pretty densely stitched sampler, and I think she'll look fabulous on this. Of course, it's a Vicki Clayton conversion in here, and it was hard because here's the rest of the pattern. Let's see. Oh, there's the corrections. It calls for a lot, and I sort of just struggled with the colors, but I think in the end I found stuff that I really like. So I don't know if you guys can see it. But and I was going to put stitches into the fabric and then never, just color testing to see if I like it. But I like what's hanging on the floss ring. So I think it'll look great. And I had to get it in big enough quantities, to make it through the sampler. Her mini spool here, her micro, I think it's mini, I think it's called. There are 5 skeins worth of silk on here, which I think is really fabulous and generous when you want to do a bigger one. Here's another one flying loose. Okay, so there's that, and we'll do one more. And then we'll call it quits because we are at 42 minutes. My video that won't upload is at 75 minutes. It's a little longer than normal. And like I said, it's just airing out. It drives me insane. Let's see here. Which one was I gonna? Oh my gosh. Okay, there's some blackbird here. So this is a bag I sewed out of upholstery fabric that I got at the Zweigart factory. I wish I had centered it a little bit more. It's a little off center. But nonetheless, it had, what I really like about this bag is the Edelweiss. So it's very, very, maybe not German, but Austrian German.
I like the buck.
There's the buck right there. Yep. So I found a cool button that sort of matches the whole pattern right here. And what do I have in here? Oh, Ann Rayner and Ann Nelson, both threads through time samplers. Okay, so here's Ann Rayner. Yeah, who doesn't want to stitch her? And people don't ask me for the pattern because it'll be ages before I get to it. So I can't very well pass it along. This is just, this is plain straight up Zweigart 40 count. Back in the day, I don't know if they've started it again, but that's the size 40 count probably. They had a clearance table, and they'd also do like factory days, and you could go in and they'd have all these specials, and they'd have big pieces of linen thrown in a bin, and they weren't necessarily the count wasn't labeled, so you'd have to dig through and take a guess. And I think this, because it says 140 by 100, so this is 1.4 meters by 1 meter, which 1 meter is close to a yard. Anyways, but it was dirt cheap. It'd be like the 10 euro bin, and you'd get these big pieces of fabric. And when COVID hit, they no longer did did those things. But I have the Vicki Clayton conversion that I bought from her, and then I substituted a few things that that I thought would go well, and they're still on these tags that snag everything. But I see. You know, sometimes I was very motivated, and I used a little bit of tape and folded this back and taped it up so it wouldn't snag. But yeah, this is a must stitch for me at some point or another. I have the Needlework Press sampler. I think it's really cool to have samplers that are similar but yet slightly different on your wall. So both of them will definitely get stitched. Now, Ann Nelson, right? Yeah, threads through time. Also very interesting. Here is the photo. It's super cool. There she is, Ann Nelson. This was a kit. I probably got it off a Stash Unload or something like that. And this is what Rob was referring to. It's interesting. This was in it. The kit was sealed, so I'm not sure why there was a science museum brochure in there, but it was in the sealed kit. Let me see what just fell down. Oh, this is the that you can put on the back of your sampler once it's done. And then here are wool. This sampler. Oh my gosh. Oh, look at these long. Oh my gosh, look how long this is. Long threads of wool. These are the colors. Here's the red. It's, oh my gosh, it's reading really orange when I look on the camera, but it's not. It's a tomato, bright red. And here's green. This looks almost black, but it's a dark green. Why is it reading so dark here on this one? Okay. So, and I did just to test. So I don't know what linen I picked. I think it's a uneven weave. Is it called Strathaven? Let me see. Oh, I have it written down on here. No, this is gander linen. So it's not an uneven weave. This is gander linen. It's a 32 count for sure, something like that. And so this is as how big the sampler will be. And I marked that this was the top right corner, but I'm holding it to the left. Is it this way? I don't remember. Anyway, so I just put a few stitches in. This is what it looks like. Stitches beautifully on this linen. It's perfect for it. This should be fun. This might be a good car project or something like that. Anywhoosies. So there is that. Almost pristine, unstitched condition here. Okay, that is what I'm going to show you in terms of what is in the bag. Plans are, we're taking off, going to Texas this coming week. I'm going to stay down there through mid-May. I actually went over that in the previous Flosstube, and then I'll be back, and then Insanity hits with one retreat or something after another.
2 retreats in Texas.
There's 2 retreats in Texas. My husband reminds me gently, kindly that there's 2 retreats in Texas. So I'm going to Stitch Texas. And then there's a small retreat that's been going on for a long time. It's the same group of people mostly. And so that's Wednesday through Sunday. I'm really looking forward to that. I always look forward to that one so much. And then, like I said, I head back and roll into a Teresa Kogut retreat at Craft Gallery, on to StitchCon Weekend A. I was Weekend B, but have a conflict. So they were kind enough to switch me to Weekend A, and I'm going to have a trunk show there. So excited with all the new stuff and the stuff I released at Market. Barb asked me. So yeah, that was a big fat yes, of course, I will do that. And then the following weekend, it's off to Stitch Camp. at summer stitch camp at Country Sampler. That is such a fabulous time. And this time around, it's Stacy Nash, Kim Nugent from Samplers Not Forgotten, and I think Barb from, no, my apologies, Alma from Blackbird Design. Sorry about that. And then there's a short pause. And then the online needlework show happens. So I don't know what I'm doing and why I'm running to all these retreats, but I signed up. I will say, in my defense, I signed up for all that last year before I knew what was going to happen here. So next year won't be looking like that. Please hold me to it. No insanity signups. There's a few things I do want to do, but try to keep it at a reasonable pace. And I really don't need any new projects, to be honest. I get them because I want them and I think they're wonderful and I'd love to have them in my stash, but in reality and in a sane world, this wouldn't be happening. Okay, so that's the hectic pace I'm headed into. I have some releases coming in end of May, beginning of June, depending on how quickly I can get situated and put them together. And like I said, and then there's the online needlework show, which the Big Dutch House will be coming out there. And I've got a few others that I'm planning. And that is that. So we're going to wrap it up. Rob's like, cut it off. Quit talking. All right. So guys, thanks for tuning in and watching. I really appreciate everybody's comments. I have tried to catch up on comments from the last one, not quite concluded, but working on it. So I appreciate you supporting me and, all the encouragement I get from you guys, both on Instagram and here. It really means the world to me. So you guys stay happy and healthy and terrific out there. Enjoy every stitch. And I will talk to you probably from Texas. Love you guys. Bye. Oh, let's see. There we go. All right. And let's see if it